Welcome to the Makers and Misfits podcast. I'm your host, Corbyn Tyson. Today on Makers and Misfits, I'm joined by Jamie from Bodycraft Wellness. Jamie is a massage therapist, educator, and business owner who spent more than 20 years helping people heal through her hands, including mine. She's helped my back out so many times. Jamie runs two businesses, a wellness center and a full massage training program at Rock Valley College. And she's built both from the ground up, guided by intuition, patience, and a deep sense of purpose. Today we talk about how to grow without burning out, what it means to run a business that actually helps people, and why trusting your gut can sometimes lead to your biggest opportunities. Jamie shares how she built a thriving practice pretty much from word of mouth, how she teaches her students to find their why, and how she manages the chaos of running a business while still staying present, all for her team, her clients, and her family. It's a conversation about trust, purpose, and the messy balance between work and life, and what happens when you follow what feels right instead of what looks right. Here's my conversation with Jamie from Bodycraft Wellness.
How on earth did they make this?
The people who are successful at it, they're willing to just live in that uncertainty for a long, intolerable amount of time that feels like it's destroying your life.
Repeat after me. It is by will alone I set my mind in motion.
The Makers and Misfits podcast.
Ever done a podcast before?
No, this is my first
Oh,
go,
really?
man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming down and doing this.
I couldn't think of a better first person to do it, you know?
Well, tell me a little bit about your businesses.
Businesses.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning or like, so I've been in business for myself for about 20 years and also a massage therapist for 20 years. Just depends on how far you want to go back, you know?
Well, tell me a little bit about your current businesses. You've got
businesses. Two. So I have Bodycraft Wellness and Massage Center, and I have 12 licensed massage therapists there, so we do body work over there. And then our second location is over at Rock Valley College, and we run a full-on massage training program over there, 600 clock-hour program. And then we also offer continuing education for licensed massage therapists over there.
How did you get into that, to the education part of
So when I was back in school, I had if you would have asked me years ago, that was not on my radar. But when I moved out to Rockford, and I opened my wellness center and stuff like that, there was these people that just kept finding me, whether it was licensed massage therapists that didn't feel confident in what they were doing. I had a particular student that graduated from a different massage program, and I think she took her state exam 5 times and couldn't pass it. So somehow we got synced up through Rock Valley, connected with her, and we studied for about 8 months, and she passed her MBLEX. So there was all these chains of events kind of drawing me into that. So it was really kind of interesting. But initially I taught for Rock Valley College in their old massage program. I taught over there for 5 years. And then the company they were contracted with, they just kind of let that contract go. And then I kept in contact with some of the people over at Rock Valley, and I had coffee with her one day, and she's like, how would you like to get the massage program up and going and get that reinstated and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. And she's like, well, you have 2 months to pitch a business plan because I'm retiring. So it was kind of one of those things. So I kind of okay, I got to get
You're
my stuff together. Yeah, I'm Googling, how do I do a business plan and all of this stuff. So I pitched it, and then I met with 2 contacts over at Rock Valley. I'll never forget it. We sat down at Green Fire, and I had it all laid out and everything, and I was like, and I'll do everything. What do you think of this? And they're like, why wouldn't we do it? Well, little did I know the approval process from there. I started going through the approval process with the Illinois Board of Higher Education and the paperwork and, building content and all the things. And I think it took just under a year to get the approvals for that. Then they came out for a site visit, which I was super nervous for because I was like, oh my gosh, they're coming.
Right.
Did a site visit. At the time, I was like in 620 square feet. But I didn't want to move because I was afraid that I was going to lose the approval
Right.
of it. So they come in, they're like, everything's really great, but we can't approve this until you find a bigger space. So I was running around all over town and looking for a space, and just the cost of everything was astronomical. How big do you go? You don't know what's kind of going to happen. And then actually a unit in my building was up for sale, and Kevin Polke.
Oh, yeah.
And I just had mentioned it to him, and he's like, I got my space down there. And then I ended up buying that space in the lower level, and it was perfectly set up for us. So it was all these divine interventions just kind of lined up. It was I was just running all over town, and it's right here. I don't even have to move out of the building. So it was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes I think that the best businesses are the ones that you didn't plan for, that these opportunities pop up, and then suddenly you're like, I think we have a business here.
Definitely.
Is that how that happened?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm kind of a nervous Nelly when it comes to spending money and taking big risks and stuff like that too. So it just kind of streamed along, and everything fell into place, and it was a clean transaction and just lined up really quickly. So it was perfect. So we were there. So let's see, Jace is 11. So he was born the year I got an approval. And so we were there in Bodycraft in the lower level until 2019. And I called my contact, and we were partnered with Rock Valley College and stuff like that already. And I called my contact over there. I was like, we're running out of space. We had 10 students down there, and then plus a full-on business with clients coming in and all this stuff, and it was noisy and loud. So I'm like, what do you guys, is there an opportunity to move this on campus? And she's like, meet me Monday at 9 o'clock in CL2 building. And Melissa and I met her there, and we walked through the old nursing program. So it was perfectly set up for us, curtained areas. We had a classroom side, a clinic side. And she's like, I don't want to make false promises. It might take, be a process. And it, again, just kind of streamed along. And next thing you know, I think we started that February or March, and we were in there by June of that same year.
Oh, wow. That's
so that
crazy.
was really cool. So, yeah, we were able to kind of set up all our stuff, and just it was kind of turnkey and get it cleaned up and
all the while
go.
You have to still run your practice.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your practice.
Yeah. Luckily, that's right up the street from Rock Valley, so not too bad. So, yeah, there was a lot of, it's pulled in several directions, and it's we're building this over here, but I have to cut my time and go over there. And then it was also I wasn't paying anybody to run my front desk and certain things like that. So it was okay, how am I going to do this monetarily, and how am I going to do this and put people in place to help me? And again, divine intervention, was just people kept popping up, and it was the right people. I didn't have to put stuff all over the place. It was it just kind of trickled in the way that it needed to, and it still continues to do that. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. There's this book that I love. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. And any business owner will tell you that, running a business, starting a business, maintaining a business, there's no one smooth path.
No.
What advice do you give to people to overcome obstacles, and how to not only overcome them, because I don't think you can avoid them. I think you have to go through them in a way. And what do you tell them that and maybe from your perspective, what you've learned when you face those obstacles.
Well, and I think I always go back to the need and the want. What do I need to have to operate my business? But what do I want to have to operate? Because I think once you get into the wants, there's all this stuff you could buy and all these different things that you want to do. So you have to be really patient as a small business owner. Can't have it all at once unless you want to be in a ton of debt. So I think kind of slowly working, that's kind of how I did it anyways. I did what's comfortable. I felt like as a body worker, I couldn't have a business where I was stressed out and frazzled all the time because I was beating everything that I was trying to build. So I always kept that in mind where, like if this, if an opportunity comes up and it makes me feel like I want to throw up, then I'm not going to do that. But there were times that were like scary where it felt differently, so what I would say to people, it's, if you want to go after your dream, don't let fear get in the way. But if you're taking it in a direction that it keeps just like knocking you down and it keeps fighting you every step of the way, maybe take a step back and look like what other direction in this path that I could take where you kind of feel that stream, you're kind of streaming along with it.
Yeah, or sometimes when things don't work out over and over and over, it might be just you're not good at it.
Yeah.
And you might just need to figure something else out.
Yeah, and back down a little bit and
Yeah.
kind of just reflect on yourself. So I've done a lot. I've never done like a full-on business plan, like all the things, but I always, every year, redid my business plan, how it fit for me, and a vision board and different things to try to have that clear vision of, what do I really want to do? Like, I don't want to turn this just into another job, another thing to do. What's going to fill my cup and what's going to provide for my family later, too. So,
Yeah. We talk about it a lot at Frank and Harvey is like, we want to build something that's sustainable and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Sustainable means that it is manageable and I'm not working till 2 a.m. every night.
right.
Sustainable also means that we are profitable.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
not a charity. And then the enjoyable part is like, hey, we want to enjoy what we're doing. And then we've also then kind of applied that to the type of clients we bring in. Because sometimes there might be an enjoyable client that we want to work with, but they may not be super profitable.
Right.
But since it's enjoyable, we'll do it,
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important in business. Talk to me a little bit about Bodycraft and what you guys do and what kind of services you guys offer.
Services.
Yeah.
So we offer anything and everything from myofascial release therapy, deep tissue massage. We call that our therapeutic massage.
Hold on. What's myofascial?
Myofascial is working with like the deep connective tissue.
Okay.
So typically when you come in for a myofascial, like you're not undressing, there's no lotion. It's more like holds, pins, and stretches to get that deep connective tissue to release.
Okay.
So it's definitely recognized more in like the medical community and stuff like that and like the physical therapy world and stuff. So it's a nice kind of blend. And some therapists just solely do that. And some therapists do like a combination of myofascial with traditional massage and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, we offer some of the spa related stuff too, like hot stone, face toning, that kind of thing. We also offer prenatal massage, sports massage, trigger point therapy, and then we have all our tools and stuff too, like cups and gua sha tools and different topical things like essential oils and stuff like that too to kind of incorporate in. So.
And how'd you start doing that?
The massage part of it?
Yeah.
So
Did you go to school for it? Or?
Yeah, I went
okay.
to, I started off at College of DuPage, and they had an introduction to massage there. And I went through the introduction, and then they had a 2-year program. It was actually a 770 clock hour program. And I started doing that, and that was close to home. That's when I lived in like Downers Grove area and stuff like that. And next thing you know, I was done and ready. But, there was a lot of components early on where I was kind of that lost soul until I found massage. And I think I'm a completely different person now. And I definitely think massage saved my life in a lot of ways because it helped me, not only do the work, and stuff like that, and give me an opportunity to kind of like slow down and like get out of my head and do what I love to do because I love the human body. But I don't know, it just sets that self-care pace. It kind of becomes contagious. It's like, yeah, like we're massage therapists. We're not dietitians or anything like that, but I feel like the more people you meet, whether you meet a chiropractor and they do acupuncture, and then this person, is doing, naturopathic health, and you're just start to kind of funnel in these resources for yourself, because it's like if you're doing it, like people are going to ask you, like, hey, I can refer you to this person for this, that, and the other thing. And it just kind of starts to build off of, because people want to be able to take care of themselves in a different way, and it empowers them to do so.
Have you seen, feels like to me with, at least like on social media, there's like a more acceptance to it. I'm going to date myself. It was like,
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was like,
It was different.
Yeah.
There was like a stigma behind it and stuff. And I think, a lot of leading therapists or educators in our industry have done a really good job of like building on, upholding the integrity of our profession. People, taking the luxury and putting the necessity, because it's like, oh, I've been to this doctor, and I still can't get my neck pain under control or my migraine headaches. And they're looking for alternative things to kind of, like, I can't just be done. I can't just give up on this.
Yeah.
So,
or
cool.
I've been to you a few times, and it's like, I go to the doctor and they're like, here's a pill. I'm like, well, that's not going to fix it.
It's not the end all be all. It's
Yeah.
not the only way. So I think it's kind of cool to kind of bring some different things into it, or just empower people to know, like, keep trying stuff. Like, just don't give up on it and keep going. So,
And I would imagine that there is a satisfaction that comes with your job because you truly are helping people. But I mean, you are running a business at the same time. But talk to me about that satisfaction that comes when somebody is in pain and they can't figure it out, and you're able to help them.
Well, and I think kind of going back to the COVID, that really showed a huge difference. Because, I mean, of course, like, I was worried. My business was shut down, but it showed that there was a need for us more than ever before. If anything, it catapulted my business. And I know other therapists that it really did their business a service, you know, and stuff like that. Because then a lot of people are walking around with, and I'm saying, when they're younger, they're older, but like people just aren't aware of their bodies, and it's like to pick up on these little details like, oh, that's pain. I'm recognizing that as pain in my body, and I need to do something about it. And it could just be that little thing, a little tweak that can help them so much. So,
And what are some of the misconceptions that you find about your industry?
Misconceptions, it's going to hurt. It always has to hurt, and it doesn't. I would say we get more clients that come in that are like, I was afraid to try this again because last time, someone did deep tissue on me and it was so painful and I didn't bounce back for a couple days, that kind of thing. So I think pivoting, in the industry too. Trying to think what else. I know there's more.
Yeah.
Just different like stigmas behind. We've come a long way.
Yeah.
And I think other states really marry like the medical massage and very well with some of the things, and like dentists are bringing us in to do like TMJ work and stuff like that. They're kind of thinking outside the box, which I think is cool.
What's TMJ?
Your jaw.
Oh. No idea. Is
Temporal mandibular joint dysfunction.
are there certain, practices that are connected with just emotional well-being or anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
I think general massage in general is automatically going to connect into it. But there's, I know there's like different classes and different teachings out there around like somatic body work. Working with people, it's nowadays like everybody, it's more the norm that you meet someone with some underlying trauma.
Sure.
That they've been through in their life and stuff like that. And that's what we teach in the program too, that sometimes you're going to have somebody on your table and things are going to come up. Emotionally, and sometimes they can't even explain it. Like, where is this coming from? Why am I crying? Why am I having these emotions come up? But when you have somebody on a massage table, they're kind of like letting their guard down, and and the flight or fight response kicks in, and sometimes things come up. And
That was something I had to get over.
I
just first few times.
it was kind of weird.
I was just like,
Like,
I'm
what do I
already,
do?
Like, very just tense. And,
And a lot of people are like that too.
Just relax,
Yeah. Well, and then I think there's anticipation. It's like, okay, how do I get on a massage table? What am I taking off? Am I just taking my shirt off? Am I taking my socks off? How do I get on the massage table? So it's like, if you find a good massage therapist that kind of talks you through it,
Sure.
it's like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fear-based,
Yeah.
stuff around
Or I remember
it.
going one time, like the first time I ever went, and it was like because I am just very tense. And it doesn't hurt.
Right.
But it was like the
It's
person.
hard to relax.
Well, and the person wasn't strong enough
Right.
to like really get in there and work my back, or because I had all those issues with my hip and
And if they can't exert the pressure, it's some people actually it feels like it tickles almost, like if it's not firm enough.
yeah.
And they're just like, ugh, uncomfortable and stuff like that.
It was the same when I would go to the chiropractor. I'd go and nothing would happen. And I started seeing Rob, and he's like the only one that can really
Yeah.
get things moving.
Yep. And he'll get it moving.
Yeah. He's a
He's
wizard.
determined.
Yeah. Yeah, and I find that it's like one of those things that when I've been traveling or when I've been working too hard to get in for a session is like great, because it just kind of ensures that I'm not going to hurt it further.
Right.
Because
You kind of know it's coming.
yeah. Yeah, and because of that, it's like my issues. I don't know why. I think it was because, Rob used to say I broke the record of least flexible at his office, and so there's something going on between my thighs and my back, like that connected muscle. So I always have had hip issues,
And it takes time to I don't know. It's like your body creates these barriers that we don't even know. And so it's like layers of the onion, right? So it's like you go one time, like you get a little further, and then you go again, and then you get a little bit further. And it's like now, like I literally could lay on this table and probably be out in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
So it takes like training.
I had I put out a video the other day that was talking about how I got into this because I actually want to help people. And I know you're not supposed to read comments, but somebody left a nasty comment of like,
Ooh.
"That's so disingenuous that you started a business and that you wanted to help people."
Really?
And I was just like, I actually responded and just was like, "Tell me how you help people and still pay your bills." But
Right. Exactly.
talk to me about as you're running a business that helps people, what are some of those pillars that you would say are most important to you in your business when you actually are trying to help people,
Yeah.
not just profit off of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think people feeling safe, is huge. Safety, trust, absolutely the two number one. And then making them feel like they're a human being. They're not just someone that's, coming in the door and like just giving you money. They want that extra TLC. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? How do you feel after your session? And that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think they just want that personable experience. They want someone to pay attention. You know, it's just like walking down the street, and how many people walk down the street and they don't even make eye contact with you and say hello. It's just taking that second to be like, how are you doing today? You know, and without being something that we're not,
Yeah.
you know.
Years ago, I had a client that we had just started working together, and she was going on vacation. And she called me in a panic the night before. And of course, I was like, "Oh crap, it's Friday.
Right.
What does she want?" She's like,
What's wrong?
she was like, "My dog sitter fell through, and I need to know where a good kennel is that you trust your dog with." And I just made a mental note because I was like, that's the goal for our business.
Yeah.
Is build that trust, not in a manipulative way, but build that trust enough where they trusted their dog
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that's like a bigger win than a huge profit. Huge profit's great,
Yeah.
but that's a win. And we went on to work together for 10 plus years,
Yeah.
you know, because of that trust.
Yeah.
You know,
And like you were talking about before, like big clients, small clients, like I tell my therapist, I'm like, you know, like let's say you're a newer therapist, maybe you have a 9 a.m. and you have a 4 p.m. and you have all this like sitting time. Like you never know by just sitting there who's going to walk in that door, or maybe you run to the store and back, or who you're going to meet. You know, that might be your forever client, or you just impacted that person in some way. I talked to a lady at a baseball game the other day. I didn't have to talk to her, but she told me her husband's at home dying, and we just were like talking. She's like, "Do you want to do coffee sometime?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." You know, so it's just being just kind of open to receive. It doesn't even have to be on a bodywork standpoint, you know. It doesn't have to be, oh, their clients coming in. It's just being human to everybody. And it just, my business is built on word of mouth. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been at the grocery store and the woman behind, you know, the cash register is, you know, 8 months pregnant. And I'm like, this might be a little forward, but we do prenatal massage. Like, come on in, you know, or we have a class going on. We need, you know, volunteers for this class. And they're just like light up like a Christmas tree. And they're like, "Thank you so much. This is amazing," you know? And I don't know, I'm the type of person that if I walked out of that grocery store and I didn't say something, even if they thought it was weird or something, I would always think that. I'd have like that regret of like, what if I did say something, you know?
yeah,
Could know them for, like you said, 10, 15 plus years.
100%.
Yeah.
What are some of the things when I know that the course that you teach at the college, there is a proponent of that where you're teaching the business side of this, correct?
Yeah.
What are some of those pillars or most important things that you tell people when they're starting their own business? Or what are some of the things that you encourage people to start their own business versus working for somebody else? Or
Well, I tell all my students, you either love the business class or you hate the business class. But it's very important to pay attention because you don't know if later down the road you're going to want to start your own business. And essentially, even if you work at a hospital or a chiropractor, you're starting your own business, period, end of story. Because it doesn't mean those clients are going to come back to see you. So you have to have some level of business sense. I shouldn't even say business sense. It's just passion for what you're doing and the belief in what you're doing for the sell, basically. I tell students too, some like are really gung-ho, I want to start my own business. And I never sway them, but I'm like, really thoroughly think through all the things. And like you always tell me, ask your why. Because I think that's really important, because it's easy to just jump the gun and be like, I want to do that. And then I see therapists, they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to work for someone and I want to get a paycheck and I don't want to do all this other stuff. So I think just being open to all the things that go into being a business owner and weigh out your needs and your wants is most important.
Is there a certain type of person that you would say there's personality traits that are necessary to run your own business? Because Running your own business has very little to do with massage therapy.
Right. Exactly.
You're the accountant, you're the marketing director, you're the janitor.
Right. Yes and no. For me, I had no interest in starting my own business when I was in school and stuff like that. But I paid attention in class. I got the information. I knew the stuff that I needed to like refer back to when I did need it. And actually the logo that I created in the business class is the same logo I used. If you would have met me 20 years ago, you would have been like, no way, no how she's starting her own business. So that I can't, I try to have like a no, but yes, you could see certain students that are like the go-getters that are like, I already got this figured out. They might be a little bit older, they might be younger, and they kind of have a clearer vision. And I think I can assume that they're probably going to do what they're set out to do. But then there's all these hurdles along the way or barriers that I've talked therapists or people off the ledge, like, why do you want to give up on this? What is the fear is it fear or is it just something that you shouldn't be doing? It's like you have to know the difference. Sometimes that seems like the same thing. So I try to like steer. And I have therapists that I recruit right out of the school, and I lose them sometimes because they're like, I want to go start my own thing. And it's hard for me as a business owner because I'm like, I don't want to lose you, but I'm also not going to talk them off the ledge and crush their dreams and be like, why do you want to do this? It's hard, and whatever. I'm like, I got to let them figure it out.
Yeah.
So, and some make it and some are like, I don't want to do this.
I like to always, when people ask me about how to start a thing, I'm like, well, you better be okay with maxing out your credit cards and having $0 in your bank account sometimes. Mm-hmm. If
Scary
you're not,
moments. You always worry as a business owner.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're better than others and you're like, oh, I can relax for a little bit, but you always kind of have that edge.
Yeah. Or weirdly, like I find myself sometimes even when things are going really well, just thinking it's going to all implode.
Yeah.
Like at any
you get
second.
like all of a sudden like this weird, like, I don't know, you just feel like paranoid. Like if you don't worry about it, then what if?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Or it's like, that's not real.
Right. Yeah.
Are there certain
Thinking
things that you have done along the way in business to prevent those scary times, those down times? Mm-hmm. What are some of those things?
I'm trying to think of an example. I like to have control. So I always think back like, what do I have control of? Where can I put my focus? So that kind of takes that like worry and anxiety out of it. Now that does tend to get me in trouble where, I'm starting big projects or, and I'm like, what am I doing? And that kind of stuff. But ultimately I try to channel it into something positive, like, okay, I don't have control of this now, but I can focus on the creative end of things, or I can go do an event and put an event on and meet people and talk to people and stuff like that because I have control of that.
Mm-hmm. And what, when you're first starting out, I'm interested to know and understand, like, how do you, no matter the business, how do you begin to market yourself? How do you put yourself out there? What would you say to your students?
Go out there and do events, do chair massage events, get out there, do like wellness fairs, cancer walks, anything and anything to just get yourself in front of people and talk to people and show them what you do and what you believe in.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think that's probably more important than even social media nowadays from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, because in the social media world with massage, like it's so, I feel like it's hard. And that's, as we talked before about blocks and stuff like that, it's like if you're doing like a video shoot or whatever, you know, you want to get the right angle to portray massage in the right way, you know, because we're working skin on people and lotion and, you know, and the human body. And you want to make sure the person feels comfortable and safe on the table and all the things, you know, so it's just like, yeah, so there's a lot. So I think it's much easier to just go out there, do the events, and just talk to people and like, let me show you what I can do. So,
I mean, that's how we started. It was all word of mouth. It was people I knew. It was going to networking events. There's some days I miss that because it was kind of easy.
Yeah.
It was easier than social media.
And I wish I could like split myself and do more of that kind of stuff because I love it. And I'm like, I try to like my staff and just my students and stuff. I'm like, come on, I want to like take them and like go have fun with it. If you're not having fun, what's the point? There's no point.
It also I think is like, you know, word of mouth is the best for any business. You know, marketing is important. It is a utility. You sort of have to do it.
Yeah.
But word of mouth is always better.
Always better.
I would assume that's true in your
Yeah.
business.
I think it takes word of mouth. In the beginning, it's slower. So like when you're like starting your own business and, you know, it's like, oh, I don't have any clients this day and I have 3 on this day. You know, it's like then you tend to like have knee-jerk reactions like, oh, this person wants me to advertise in like a magazine for $900. And it's like, oh, should I do it? What if I don't do it? But it's like, I think if you just stay on pace with the word of mouth, and it's like, one of my friends told me, she's like, if you put your head down and just like do as much promoting and like getting yourself out there in the first 3 years of your business, like first 3 years is the hardest. And if you can hang on for that first 3 years, then you'll kind of see that trickle and that flow kind of come in. But you always still have to do something to add to that because you're going to have those slow periods of time. And everything revolves around when the kids are going in and out of school and stuff like that. Because people are like, they lose their minds. They're like, what's my schedule now for the summer? And they shift and they change. So if you're constantly doing stuff in that in-between time, then you'll never have lulls in your schedule. And
yeah, because eventually word of mouth runs out.
yeah.
I can speak to that. It's like there was momentum for 10 years on word of mouth, but then eventually it's sort of that circle gets, I don't know if it gets smaller, but you've reached capacity at a certain amount. And so you have to keep that machine going.
You shift
and
the
I'm
circle.
guilty of turning it off. We're turning it on hardcore this year because it's like, oh, wow, we've seen it work with very little effort combined with word of mouth. And we see it as like, we're going to do marketing to be a support to that word of mouth. So when somebody hears about us, they can see stuff's going on and what we do, and they can get a sense of who I am as an owner.
Well, and you reminded me a lot of that, you know, just when we met a couple months ago. It was like, you know, the focus on the people that you have, you know, and then like we were focusing on, you know, contacts at Rock Valley and like contacts we haven't, you know, heard from in a long time. And it's like, you know, eventually it's like, oh, I had a student start in September that her mom used to come and see me for massage, and they live in Wisconsin now. And now she sent her daughter to the program.
That's
like,
great.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you're a perfect fit for this program. Wonderful. You know, like, let's go.
That's what I always say about the Lexus commercials, you know, with the bow. I always was like, these are dumb, right? Like, who does that? But then it was like, oh, it's not for me. Like, I'm not buying a Lexus.
Right.
It's for the person who's already bought one.
Right.
To be like, that's my car.
Yeah,
you know?
that's my car.
It supports that word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and I just feel like a lot of people in the area, like, I mean, there's so many cool businesses, and it's like, oh, I've never heard of that business. Oh, they've been here for 15 years, you know, and same thing with like the massage program. Like, I didn't know there was a massage program at Rock Valley College, you know, and it's like, then someone else tells that person and it keeps going, and eventually something surfaces there.
So a couple months ago, we went through the process with our team and your team to talk about branding, messaging, and not logo or anything, but just who are you and how do we say what we want to say. Talk to me about that process and what that was like. And
You really want to know the process?
How painful was it?
No, I mean, it was great, but like I'm a thinker, so it's like sitting down, me, you, Carly, and Sheila. It was a lot of information, and it's like I want to be involved with my business. I don't want to just pay one person to like and hands off. Like I want to still be involved. So I think collectively taking all that good information and like knowing we are doing something right. We're not doing, maybe we are doing some things wrong but it kind of just collectively narrowed things down for me, even though it was like overwhelming in the moment. It's like, you got to take the time to sit down and be the creative part of this, and that's the part I loved in the beginning because I had all this time. I didn't have a ton of clients and all these moving parts, and I could just go sit in the woods and write stuff down and do all the things. So yeah, in the beginning it was overwhelming, but as we've peeled the layers off, it was like, oh, like I see it now. It's like we're making this way too hard. We're making it harder than it needs to be. And then with trying to get like ahead of it, I think is one of the hardest pieces of, I would assume, all business owners, because it's like you always feel like you're behind. Oh, I should have done that. But it's really time is only going to help you navigate like, okay, next year I could be better about it and I'm going to be more ahead of it because I know I want to do this, this, and this. But if you don't have that clear vision, it's like, I think in the beginning I had such a clear vision, and then you get like those stuck moments where you just are like, I don't know the why anymore. So I think you and Sheila asking those hard questions of like, yeah, what is my why? Why am I doing this? You kind of lose that touch. And you guys were kind of soul reminders of like, no, I still got this, type of thing. And I thought it was a really positive spin.
Yeah, I think that's why we start those sessions with asking that question, what is your why, from Simon Sinek's book? Like, because I forget our why.
Yeah.
Usually my why is I got to pay my mortgage.
Right. Exactly.
And so you take on a bunch of work that you don't want to do, and you lose focus, and then all of a sudden you're just spending all your time putting out fires and not really working on the business. And what we are hoping that a lot of that does is, like, in some ways it's what pisses me off about business when I'm pitching to a client is marketing has never been a priority for a lot of companies. Some it is. I'm talking small business, right? Because you're just putting out the next fire. And I'm guilty of that as well. Where I think there's a shift, at least for me, has been like, wait a minute, I prioritize bookkeeping, I prioritize client work, but I'm not prioritizing Frank and Harvey work. And so I think it's still up there. Yeah, it's like on the board there, it says, I'm the owner, creative director, and sales and marketing. And then everything else, which is client relationships, vendor relationships, creative execution, and distribution, is off my plate because not the client relationship or vendor relationships, but the creative execution and the distribution is, I don't touch that. Yeah. Because it's like, if I am stuck in that, there's no time for sales and marketing. Yeah. And those other things are priorities for me. And what's great about doing that in our businesses now, when we're helping other businesses, we're like, well, that's what we're doing. Right. And all we've done is we've systemized our marketing. Yeah. Just like we do for all our clients. I never did it for me. Right. I just always was like, well, I feel like making a video, or I feel like doing this, or I don't. Right. Go years without posting a thing. Yeah. And then
just grab and go.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's like you put a lot of effort and you do systemize it and you prioritize it. And then you're like, holy shit, this takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And you're sort of sitting down to a slot machine hoping it works out, because spending all your time doing the work in the business is way easier, because that's what I did for so long, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about why, as a business owner, is it important for you to work on the business versus in the business? And I think you do a great job of doing both, because you still see
I'm glad
clients.
you think so.
Well, you do, you know.
It doesn't always feel like that all the time. It's
Yeah.
like I get mad at myself because it's always constantly setting boundaries.
Yeah. And really, I
Constantly.
think the question comes from, like, why is that such a struggle for business owners? You hear that. You got to work on the business, not in it. And you're like, oh, yeah, I get that. But then you find yourself working in it
Right.
more than you do on it.
Yeah, I try to so I basically take a notebook and I call it the hard threes. And I break my lists up in threes. So I have, the business. Well, which business? I try to categorize where I'm doing one hard thing for each business. Like stuff I don't like to do, stuff, just calls, or, I got a bookkeeping, or, that kind of stuff. That way I'm devising my time and dividing it up where I'm not so spread thin. So it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of a systematic thing that I do. It doesn't always work, because you're like, it can make you crazy too.
Yeah.
So trying to find that magic mixture, which there isn't one.
Right.
I'm forgetting your initial question. I'm getting tangent.
I'm curious of, how do you balance working on the business and in the business?
Right.
And how do you, because it's impossible to keep it completely balanced.
No, it's impossible. It's always a struggle.
But how do you prioritize those hard things that you don't want to do, that we all procrastinate for 6 months, and then
Yeah.
you just have to do it?
Right.
That's taxes for me. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's everybody. It's like, oh my God. So I try to do the hard things first. But always have a fun thing in there. And kind of rotate it in my groups of three, and I'm and I always go back to my animals too. That's my fun thing to do, the way I disconnect and stuff like that. And I always have to remind myself, life is farm pace. You're not going to be able to do everything all in one day type of thing. So it's I feel like if I write it down and I have it categorized and how I want to do it, then it weirdly works. Not all the time, though.
right. Yeah, you got to manage the chaos.
Yeah, because I have certain times a year that it's just crazy. I'm I don't know which way's up, down, sideways, and it's I got to take care of myself too and have that balance, and then see my family. And Joe's great. He's a great dad. He'll take him to baseball and do all the things. And there's just certain times a year I have to kind of not do that, you know, and stuff like that. And then, but trying to get all my stuff done so I can come home and be a good mom and be present.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I have the exact mixture all the time, but
I think
and I'm open to if anybody has the right mixture
Right.
because I want to know what it is.
Well, I think if anybody said they did, I'd call them a liar.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because
But I get
it's-
people that say it all the time. They're like, how do you do all the things? I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I just do it. And I love what I do. So that helps. But to not turn it into something you don't like to do is the hard part, because I feel like you could turn anything into something you don't like to do.
100%. Yeah.
And
That's
then
why we
put it-
don't do websites.
Yeah.
Used to like doing them. Then I hate them.
I just redid my website 3 years ago. For a while, we gimped it along, whenever. And finally, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm
Oh, you
paying
did
the
that
money.
yourself?
No, I
Oh,
paid
yeah.
someone to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was so beyond me. And
Yeah.
whatever. And then when I did that, then I've only been paying marketing dollars for like the past 3 years up to that point for 17 years, all word of mouth, all
Yeah.
no, like people would be like, what's your marketing budget? I'm like, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Like it's zero.
Yeah.
So
And have you seen, I'm curious, I know some of the things we've talked about, the tactics that you're doing. Have you seen that a worthwhile investment or not a worthwhile investment? You can be honest. Because I think some of them have
yours,
not been.
like
No, not us.
just like in general.
Yeah.
It's hard to measure it. It's hard to measure where things come, unless it's like, you got me this student or that student, but it's like most of the time you don't know where it came from. So it's like, is it what Rock Valley's doing? Is it what this person's doing? You don't know. It's just bring it all in there. So I don't know. It was hard to spend that money and not know how to measure it. you
Right.
know?
Oh, yeah. That is the biggest misconception we have to overcome always. Is what's my ROI going to be? And I'm like,
Yeah.
if I could guarantee an ROI, I'd be on a fucking yacht.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
right now, because there is no, especially
Yeah.
with what we do, which is content creation. There are things that are very measurable, but I'm not smart enough to know how to do those things. And so,
But I mean, I think it's always like interchanging constantly all of the time. So I think, working with you was most valuable to me because it's like, I want to learn. I want to learn how I can be better instead of just hands off where like I can't measure something.
yeah.
Like I have to see it, I have to feel it, and it's
Well, and I think
you got to see it work.
we've been doing this long enough to know that actually the most successful for you as a small business owner is for you to get on camera and for you to do that yourself. Some people aren't willing. That's fine. We'll help them. But the fact that you're willing to do it, it's actually way better than hiring our company to do it.
Yeah. And it's like there's not many people out there that will like be like, I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to mentor you and how to get where you want to be, because each business is different and I could hire this marketing guy to do this, but like they've never had a massage or they've never, they don't know the industry and that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's like, I don't know. I think Carly and Melissa really understand, because it's like, in my head, it's like, if you thought you knew what I was thinking, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. So it's like, I'm the only person that can get in my own head to figure out what I need and what I need to do. No one else can do that.
Yeah. I said to the team the other day, you do not want to get into my head.
No, it's a scary, scary place. That's what I
might
tell
have a
people
panic
too.
attack.
Yeah, exactly. It's just constantly bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop. I'm like,
Well, but I think our personalities are very similar in that
Yep.
way. It's great to have team members to keep you on the rails.
yes.
Talk to me
Like
about the
Sheila.
importance. Yeah. Talk to me about the importance of building that team around you, that they support the ideas, but they're not going to get in the way of the ideas.
Right, right. Well, I know like my team, it's like they believe in what I want to do, but if I bring a new person on, it's like it kind of takes them a little bit to kind of, get to that point like, oh, I'm getting inside your head now, and whoever is going to watch this knows like that, again, it's a scary, scary place in there, but I think treating them well, where I want to bring everybody along with the ride. I want to provide those opportunities if they want to come along for the ride. That might shift and change down the road, but I'm a gatherer. It's like, let's all do it together. And they're like, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing,
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, let me show you. I don't know. It's just like a vision thing for me.
I think we joke about it being scary, but I actually think that's where the magic is, because I can speak for myself. I thrive in chaos when others
Yes.
will sit in the corner and cry.
Yes.
So I think having that chaotic mindset in a way is necessary to an extent. I know people that are calculated that run huge businesses, right? But
And I want to get in their head.
yeah,
What is happening in there? Because I want to know.
right. But I think, talk to me about like sort of harnessing that chaos and that creativity and being able to build a business.
Harnessing it.
Attempting to.
Yeah, attempting to harness it. It's like I just always constantly have to tell myself, like, just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time. Don't start this project right now. Like, not that you're not going to do it, just kind of patience. I always constantly have to tell myself patience, you know, because usually I'm like, I want to do it right now, because it's like you don't want to lose it. You know, oh, I'll do it in 6 months. Is that really going to happen? Maybe, maybe not, you know, type of thing. So I don't know, trying to get myself in a place where trying to, you know, right now it's like hard for me because I know where I want to take the business, but I'm in that spot where it's like, come on, let's go, you know. And I think as a self-taught business owner, like, I don't have a degree in business. I don't have, it's like you get very like, I do what works. And I'm okay with that. But then you can get very like closed-minded thinking where it's like, you know, I've been looking at like, you know, women life coaches, you know, kind of like the Tony Robbins, and they're like, get in your head and stuff like that. But it's like every time I do something like that, it doesn't work because it's not fit for me and my business and my vision. It's like there's not one person that can tell me to get me there. So I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I don't have that answer.
Yeah. I've spent too much time in that space of looking for some sort of guru.
Yeah. It's
And-
like I kind of did that, and then I worked with you guys, and I don't know. It's like I'm always like, I just need a weekend to just
Sure.
sit and just carve it all out
Yeah.
and just get it out there. And,
Whenever I do that, I just end up sleeping the whole time.
well, right. And then you get nothing done,
Right.
and I'm like,
which is
what's
maybe
the point
the
of
best
that?
thing, you know?
But I think part of it, you know, it's like it has to be the right time. It's like all of a sudden I'll get in this mode and it's like I'm just laser focused and it all comes together and I got to just write it down. Constantly write it down. You lost the bulb.
What's the light?
Oh.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh. We'll
Technical
dim it.
technical difficulty. Oh, I had a great question.
Did you lose it?
If you're listening, the light just went out and it distracted me. Speaking of ADHD, but
It'll come back.
what do you look forward to the most with your business? I'm really bad at answering this question because I'm very in the moment. Like, I don't know where we'll be in 5 years. I jokingly say open. Like, you know, what are you most excited about where your business is headed?
It's always the people I meet. That excites me the most, you know, whether it's that first initial meeting with a student or a client, or the ending result of that. You know, it's like that's where I get my why. It's like in the stories and the people that I interact with and meet along the way, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining me
Yeah.
today. Where can people find you and your business?
Bodycraft Wellness in Rockford, so bodycraftwellness-wellness.com, and or you can go to Rock Valley College Massage Therapy Program, and we pop up. So
Nice.
we're both locations in Rockford.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jamie.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Makers and Misfits podcast.